Welcome, everyone. I hope the sound is coming through right now in the mountains of the eastern region. It's 3:33 here in Africa, and I was awakened. It was a sense of urgency that hit me, and I realized that there was a very strong storm coming my way. And if you can hear, I'm pulling my windows closed because on the top floor of the structure, and excuse me for clearing my throat because I'm just waking up. I can leave my windows open because it's not at the ground floor. So it's a really wonderful experience to be up here, to sleep, and to be at one with nature. But there's a lot of electricity in the air. And it's almost like I was awakened to just share something that was put on my heart. I'm really just waking up out of a deep sleep after a few hours of sleep. And I have to close this window because the rain's coming in. So I was going to show you the bottom edges of the clouds that are rolling across my house. So I think I'm good for now because it's really, really blowing sideways. But aside from the rain, whatever happens in nature, in the physical, there's always a spiritual aspect to it. And you'll find yourself moving, I'm not going to say differently, but you'll find yourself moving in a way that may be it may feel off when it comes to how you usually move, the routine. And that being said, you have to move intuitively because of the energies, and it's really coming down hard now. I'm glad I woke up and closed these windows, but I was warned about that. I can say. I can also say the power just went out, as it usually does when a really heavy storm comes. And that's a preventative measure that they do here. But I know I'm going to go back to sleep eventually, but I'm wide awake right now. And just like the title says, let the spirit intuitively guide you, because we still have to see our world and the plane that we're on now. And I don't mean airplane, I mean level. The plane that we're on now is all about energy. And you have to be able to see that. Many people don't see it. And when you have a good heart, you have to understand that attacks will come. And the higher you go, the air gets thinner on a spiritual level. When that air gets thinner, it's easy to be seen for the positive, ascending person that you are in this spirit world, which is layered on top of the physical world that we're in right now. But we have to understand that. And we have to see things two ways, if not more. So when you go to work and you go about your day, and sometimes it feels like you're being chastised. Sometimes it feels like you're having an off day. It's not by chance. If you've been doing the work of focusing on yourself and the righteous isolation, There are forces that don't want you there. There are entities and forces that are there to counteract your ascension, so to say. And you have to be careful. You see, it's like you're a football player and you have the ball in your hand, and guess what? The other team, every single player is trying to come against you. Every single player of the other team is trying to stop you from making that touchdown. And it can take many forms. It doesn't have to be just strangers. It could be your own family members or people who you thought were in your corner. You understand? So, yes, Boz, I see you. I see you, brother. Thank you for being here. So, the trick is seeing beyond the physical and seeing the energy of these entities who want to come close to you to throw you off. And it could be anybody. I've noticed personally with myself in my own personal life that there have been energies that have followed me, jumped from one situation to the other, to the point where I know how they work. I know how they move. It may sound crazy, but this is how I remain intact in who I am and moving forward with the kind of life that I want to live. Because see, at the end of the day, there's a great envy. There's a great envy because of the energy that you carry and the destiny that you have. And on a spiritual level, these entities don't want you to go where you're destined to go. They want to distract you. They want to keep you from going to that next level. But in a sense, when you're on point, you have to realize that that's part of it because they're going to make you better when you stay focused. They're only making you better. You move better. You know, when you've been playing the game for a long time, you already know what the goals are of the opposition. Is to stop you from making that touchdown, to stop you from winning that prize, to stop you from going higher because they can't go higher. You see, they want to keep you on a level, on a spiritual level. I'm not just saying it's like something like out of a movie with a spook or an ugly entity. This is pure energy. And that's how I move. That's how I know when I get near certain individuals, I have to pull away. Or there's certain individuals who may have a message for me that I'm going to gravitate toward. I just woke up. I usually don't do this, and I will be doing it more. I'm going to throw up a generic banner and just start talking. I'm not even going down to the studio and doctor it up or whatever. There'll be times when things hit me in the spirit, I'm just going to start talking. And there are many people who talk to me and send me messages and let me know what they're going through. And I see it's common across the land. A lot of things have been revealed to me in my life, and it was dead on point. There are people who will feign being part of your inner circle, but they're working for the other side. And they will take their time and say the right words, take their time and do the right deeds because they're waiting for the opportune time to smash your spirit and destroy you. And one of the ways that you'll find that they're working on you is that you find yourself not caring for the things that you formerly cared for. Meaning what? Sometimes, and this is normal now, this is what I'm about to say. Sometimes you wake up in the day, you have the day off, and you say, man, I don't even want to get in the shower and wash my backside. I just want to lay around. There are things that you had hoped to do, and you just have no enthusiasm for it. Now, that can be normal to a certain point. For me, I know when I'm off, and I know when I'm focusing on, and I know when the heaviness comes, it's not from me. So I will pull back, not from what I want to do, but I'm closing off every portal of my being and just taking all the clutter that's coming at me. You see, it's pouring down raining right now. I just had to close the windows. My windows downstairs are cracked, not broken, but pushed open a little bit on one side of the house because the rainstorms usually come and hit from one side, unless the wind blows. So when you feel these storms coming up in your spirit, where you're being pulled from doing the things that you usually do consistently, you know that there's a negative energy on a spirit level trying to pull you away from the momentum that you have yet to gain. You know, on a physical level, we have our metabolism. And it's like when you're on a refined way of eating to lose weight, you have to tell your body that this is the plan by you doing what you're doing. If you're reducing calories, if you're starting to go to the gym to work out, it can be hard to create that new rhythm right away. But once you get locked in, it's as easy as brushing your teeth or combing your hair or jumping in the shower. So on a spiritual level, and what I mean to say by speaking on the physical things, you create a momentum. Your body picks up on this, and I've heard people call it metabolic momentum. Your body falls into place because of what your mind told it to do, because you know that you needed to do this to get to that next level physically. Well, guess what? This is what I'm saying. I'm not a guru. I'm just telling you what I observe. There's a spiritual momentum that you can create that will help you to ascend by rejecting bad habits, rejecting indulgences that pull you back even though they feel pleasurable. And when you can isolate yourself from these things that are distractions, whether it's heavy alcohol, porn, anger, feeling less than, that you have to have a need to be around people who are not good for you. You have to create a new momentum. You can be in the best of shape physically, but that means nothing unless you have everything, the total package. The spiritual momentum, the mental momentum. These are terms I'm making up. Maybe I heard metabolic momentum before. I'm just taking it a bit further. And I can't believe I'm wide awake right now because I was in the deepest sleep. And over the horizon, I saw the flashing. I got up to answer the call to nature and tinkle. But that's usual. Sometimes storms come and they go up here in the mountains, yes. But there's something different about this energy right now. I received a few messages that I wanted to address personally, and I'm addressing them in this stream from the hip, off the top of my head. I might be 5 minutes longer, I may be 2 hours long, I don't know. But I could feel the stirring in the air where I am. I'm here physically, but I can feel it. And I feel empowered. And for me personally, I've been whipping the hell out of negative energies that try to hover around you, that try to peep at you, to try to watch you like you're their prey. No, I see you. And if you come to take a bite symbolically, you're going to be beheaded. And you have to walk this way spiritually through this world because you see what's going on in the world right now. You see the things that are happening, the turmoil, how the greed and the need to have power, pseudo power. We look at these men in suits who call themselves leaders that people elect into positions as though there's something higher than us. But look how they're moving. Look how they're destroying the world and the potential to destroy humanity. Because they have to be first. They have to be the strongest. They have to be the ones conquering. But it's not just a reflection on what we see on that level, but look at our own lives, at the entities who want to grab everything that you have, don't want you to have what you have. They want to take. If you got 2, they got to have 4. Well, be my guest, but don't try to take it from me. Don't be mad that I have a certain destiny, right? You have certain people and energies that are in people that see your trajectory in this life. And they hate you because they can see where you're going, even when you don't know where you're going. You got to understand that. And it could be the cashier at the supermarket. It could be the next door neighbor. It could be a family member who lives miles away who hears of your progress or your victories. When an attack is levied against you, and it may knock you down for a while, but you find yourself getting up and moving higher. But the thing now is to be on guard and on point. When an airplane goes up, I don't care if it just landed successfully and everything is working, it has to go through another pre-flight. Lots of times they skip on that. But in a pre-flight, every working part is checked to make sure that that next flight is going to be successful. That it can spot the little problems or the little challenges or things that we'll overlook or an untrained eye will overlook. They have to do the pre-flight. The problem is with us, we don't do our gut check. We don't do our pre-flight. We just wander on out in the world and trust every single smiling face that comes at us. And remember, the gift of discernment is not just for the people who are trying to live in a righteous way. And righteous doesn't mean perfect. You can call yourself being on a diet to lose weight and find yourself eating a piece of chocolate cake. Don't feel bad about that. Just get up and continue. You can be a righteous man in a relationship and catch yourself looking at this next girl's shapely ass. It doesn't mean you failed. It means now you have to do that pre-flight more so to keep yourself on point so you don't fly off course. This is real. And they come in small ways. That one little bolt on the wing of a plane, if it's loose, the air might get under it and rip part of that wing off, and it'll be a bigger problem. So you have to catch the small things, because this is what it takes in this day and age. Look at all of the wars going on, and more people are getting involved in the war. It takes one ego to want to push a button, and now it's nuclear. And then after that, problems begin. It's not just, oh, we just bombed you and that's it. The nuclear winter, the clouds, the darkness where now your food can't grow. But also, you don't worry about any of that because it's already decided whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. For you, you have to just hold on all levels of your life and take care of yourself. Reassure yourself for the next day coming. Do your pre-flight. Get your nutrition. Get your rest. Get your quiet time to yourself and by yourself. Be careful of people who can't allow you to get your rest and to touch base with yourself. There are people who are sent to you in the spirit world, and they will be physical people and or thoughts that are not conducive to you getting better, where you eat yourself up. I know people like that. You see what I mean? That they're open. I'm not saying they're weak, but it's like that thread in an outfit that it's just a little piece poking out, and you start pulling at the thread and you forget about it. But now you sit down and the thread pulls out more and more, and now the whole leg of your suit is falling apart. All because of that one little part, right? It doesn't take much to sink a ship. If there's a hole in the side of the ship or down near the bottom and you don't even see it, you can start sinking. It starts small. So therefore, that tells me you've also got to be in control of your mind. Because you could be going through extreme warfare with nobody around you. You can isolate yourself and still be in the battle. Most of the time it comes through people, but then those energies, when you're successful at isolating yourself to meditate, can come through your own mind, cause you to doubt yourself and become like that thread pulling out of your suit. So you got to pre-flight yourself every single day and every single moment. Gut check yourself. You don't take a trip from California to New York or from New York to Florida in a car and just jump in. Before you do a long trip, what do? You tune up the vehicle if it needs it. You rotate the tires or get new tires. You make sure everything is functioning. You do that pre-flight. And you make sure that you can endure the trip. Because if you neglect it, you can find yourself on the side of the road, stranded in a dangerous situation with nobody around for miles, and all kind of dangerous animals or predators in the form of dangerous people can come and mess with you. Cover yourself. Protect yourself at all times. I would have never thought a couple hours ago, I dozed off. I knew I was going to go to sleep. I was going to do one more thing. And something said, no, listen, just go and lay down. Get up tomorrow. A few plans have changed. Brother Malik is traveling. Dr. Vibrant Issa White is traveling. They're out of the country. So there won't be a Muslim street show later on today. So on my channel, you won't see it. But on his channel, the Muslim Street, you'll see a replay of what we did last week. Because people really enjoyed that show. But they're very busy. So I said, okay, I'm free at that particular time slot. There's some things I want to do. Now, if the rain remains heavy later on, I'll probably stay in. But I doubt if it's going to rain. When it rains this early in the morning like this heavy, it usually opens up. I'm playing that on an intuitive level. We'll see how that goes, to be flexible. Because that's another point in these warfares and in this spiritual warfare. You're going to have to be flexible. You have to be so well trained that you can make a move, a counter move at the last minute and still be on course. It's like a fighter that's trained so well. Look at Muhammad Ali, who had exemplary skills when he was a younger fighter. People know him from the 70s. When he was just coming up in the early 60s, he couldn't be touched. And he trained so hard. He had talent, but he trained hard. You have strength, but you enhance it by your meditation. Meditation doesn't mean you have to sit down and turn your palms up and yam myo ho renge kyo. I don't know what kind of energy that is anyway. Be careful of accepting things that people hand to you to say this is good for you. You got to check it out for yourself. But he was so well trained, Muhammad Ali, that when he was in the fight, he didn't even have to think about it. He didn't have to, they had a plan, but he was so good and on top of himself with his skills, he can just come on in there and not be stiff and flow with you and beat you senseless. All these big, strong guys who can knock you out, he's standing in front of them just relaxed. See, the thing is, when you're well meditated up, and that's probably a word that I made up, meditated, like medicated, you're so strong in who you are, you can relax in the middle of the battle. You can be under attack in your mind. You'll know how to take care of that. You can be under attack by somebody trying to put doubt in your head or trying to cause chaos around you to distract you from your incremental growth that day. But you're so relaxed, you say, okay, I know what this is. I know how to fight this. I'm well trained for this. See me, this is how I live. Very intuitively. Now the storm is raging. There's energy flowing, lightning dropping. I'm on my phone doing this, and the power's out right now, as it usually does. Because I believe that up here, when lightning strikes, and if it may strike an electrical, because we're touching the sky, we're in the sky. I'm looking at the clouds right now. So in order to prevent a disaster, something falling and on the road, a pole like it did the other day, electrical, the power is off. It'll come back on. That's okay. But I knew that. That's why I came on the phone. I didn't go in the studio. So you have to be so well in touch with yourself, more so these days, that you don't have to panic when something happens. You just flow because you're so tight with yourself. You strengthen yourself. You sharpen your sword. When the fight is not on, which is always going to be pressing on you, but when you have those idle moments, you have to sharpen your sword. While you're looking over the mountaintop to see if there's anything coming for you. This is why, like a sentinel who looks over the mountains in war, we're not talking about the present day war with the tanks and the planes and the drones, but when it was just people on foot. Some of the combatants, some of the soldiers, the warriors, they would sleep. And there would be one or two who stay up all night and look over the mountains. And when they're up, you can sleep. So you have to know how to cover yourself at all times. And if you don't feel 100%, then you got to bring yourself to that point. And if you have no choice and you have to be around these energy drainers, do it amongst them. They can be babbling at you to keep your mind off of what you need to stay on. I mean, yes, we live in this system. And when we're working, we have to go to work to make money. That's part of the prison. But even in the prison, we can be free. I learned that working in the prison and working in the jail. That we had so many, I hate to use the word inmates, but I have to use that word. We had so many inmates that they understood their bodies were trapped. But they would also say how their minds are free. And we had corrections officers, like I was once. And I saw some of the coworkers that I had such problems. They were physically free, but mentally trapped. Ain't that something? So what may appear to be something obvious may not be the reality. Because I've had some of my most joyous moments sitting down, talking with inmates who are locked up in jail and prison, but yet go through more chaos with people who technically were free. So you got to understand what you're dealing with when you see a person or a person gets around you and you have this new energy around you. It may be where they're a Trojan horse. You accept the gift of the Trojan horse and you let it behind your defenses, your wall. But the Trojan horse is nothing but a cover for the enemy's troops to come in and defeat you. Fellas, that pretty woman that's around you. I'm not saying to be paranoid on any woman you're attracted to, but don't drop your guard so fast in the hopes of having time with her. The same thing with our sisters. You see that nice looking man who speaks nice to you? You're used to men coming at you in a way where, okay, he wants one thing, but this one seems a little different. He might not even want just the one thing. This man may want your soul. He might have had a bad experience with a woman who looked like you, and now he's trying to attack you to get back at his prior experience. You don't know what energy's coming at you. And I'm not saying this to be paranoid. Just be careful, because one bad mistake, one bad decision with the wrong energy can throw you off. You could always come back, but now you wasted time. It might be 6 months, it might be 5 years. Some people that don't do right to themselves and by themselves, they never recuperate. Unfortunately, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, it's going to be all right. Yeah, hopefully it will if you do the right things. But doing the right thing is not just reactive, it's being proactive in life. I see things that are trying to pull me in. I'm like, you're not getting me. You're not getting me. I'm out here in the motherland. And I'll go down to the market. Mrs. Scurv, I'm still asleep. I'm working here. Okay, I'll be back. And you got some women that are so magnetic and they're trying to pull you. And you got to know what that is. Now, see, that was always my thing. My thing wasn't cocaine. My thing wasn't liquor. My thing wasn't anger and getting into fights, although I got into fights and defended myself. So you got to know where that weak bolt is that you have to keep tightening up on your pre-flight. You got to know yourself. And how do you know yourself? You spend time with yourself. You don't sit down all day scrolling on the phone. Look within, scroll within. Do your pre-flight. Stay strong. Make sure you're topped off. You got a heck of a trip this next day to deal with. I don't mean anything negative, but again, like I said, you don't start a cross-country trip on a quarter tank of gas. What if it runs out and there's no gas station around? You got to go with a full tank, the full tank of awareness, the full tank of discernment, the full tank of focus, where you know that you're not going to get taken off. And as a human being, subject to these things that come at us, yes, there will be times when we fall off the mark. Just because you're in a fight and you get knocked down doesn't mean you can't get back up and win the rest of the rounds. I've seen it many a time. But don't do it to yourself. Don't go out there neglected and lacking focus, because it can happen. We all can get had by a James Buster Douglas. For those who don't know, back in the day, Mike Tyson lost when he was in his prime, but he wasn't focused. Laying up with all these women, half training. He just knew his opponent was easy work. You never underestimate the opponent. And you never underestimate what's coming at you when something's coming at you so strong and evil, even though it may be fair seeming. Even though they say good words to you, they're getting closer to you. You got to get close to me to hit me. It's simple. It's the same thing on a spiritual level. If you're standing across the room, you can swing all you want. I'm not in range to get hit. But when you have people that come into your life and you start talking your life, your secrets, your goals, your aspirations, and they're busy taking a mental note. Okay, we know how this person reacts. We know their pet peeves. We know what puts fear inside of them. It shouldn't be, but we know now they gave us the combination to the lock. We're going to slowly destroy them. And see, stop judging the world by the state of your mind when you're a good person, when you're a kind person, when you're a helpful person. Don't think the next person is like that. Don't think that they don't resent you. There are good people out there who will help you, and you'll feel that immediately. the proper kindred spirits that you need along the way, just like the Underground Railroad with the slaves in America. All the white people weren't bad. Most of them were. But you had those who say, listen, you trying to get up north? You can bunk out over here, eat, recharge, and rest before you carry on. So you'll find those people in this life, even though they may be far and few between. When you find people like this, or they're placed in your path on the divine level, you hold on to them and never let them go. And you do for them also. You have to. You have to. It's a matter of life or actual death. And people don't want to say that, but it's the truth. And I'm not just talking about the physical death. I'm talking about the spiritual death that so many people walk around in that state, that they're open for all kinds of things because they gave up on themselves. You're supposed to fight to keep your peace of mind, to keep your strength. You don't work hard to keep things in your house. I'm not saying that's all you work hard for. You pay your bills, but you've accrued things, large and small. You don't just leave out to go to the store or go to the market or go to work and just leave all your doors swinging wide open. You'll come back eventually. They'll see that you do that and you're not going to have anything left. But don't do that with yourself and your energy. And we have so many shapeshifters out here, and you have to sometimes righteously shapeshift when these people monitor you. Yeah, I'm not saying do anything bad, but cover yourself and cloak yourself and play the game the same way. Going back to Muhammad Ali, he would act like he was hurt and back it up against the ropes. And you come in for the kill and he hits you with a blow. And, oh man, I thought he was on his way out. You made them think that. It's strategy. And I'm telling you, things in this world today, it's getting even more. It's tighter and tighter. We got social media, people using it for the wrong things. Their minds are all jacked up because they're absorbing all of this stuff that's clouding them. They're becoming zombies. They're becoming tools for all kinds of energies. They don't even know what they're doing sometimes. They don't know why they do the things that they do sometimes because they're open for it and they're being used. Don't allow yourself to be used by somebody. You're just a glove with somebody else's hand in it. You're like a hand puppet. And there's a ventriloquist throwing a voice in you, using it for their purpose. Hollows, people who have no soul. And that's what a lot of these indulgences are reducing our energy internally, but we don't even know who we are anymore. We just wake up. You ever take something and you're by the beach or a lake, or you a kid, you got a popsicle stick, you eating the popsicle, you got the little wooden stick, and you throw it in the water, and you look at the popsicle stick, and the way the water moves, it takes it away in a direction that it wants it to go. That little light wooden popsicle stick has no movement of its own, no generated energy of its own. So it goes wherever. And that's how some of us, we move in this lifetime. Whatever happens, people come around us and we don't have a mission of our own. And we just roll with them. And when you do have a mission, they're so determined to come and get you to do something different than what your spirit told you to do, that will keep you in a place of balance. Stop giving up your own righteous mission for the riffraff that people come at you with a smile on their face. You got to stay focused. I remember years ago, I think this was around 1989, I had just purchased a new vehicle. All of a sudden, I had friends that I didn't realize that I had. But there was one fella who was a couple of years older than me, maybe like about 20 years, maybe 15 years older than me, but he looked much, much older because he was a heavy alcoholic. He was a hardworking man as a mechanic, and he was a heavy, heavy alcoholic. And he got closer to me after my father passed away, but he was a nice guy, but I noticed that his energy was off. Well, sometimes he would come around and say, hey, Lance, come take a ride with me. He's telling me to come take a ride with him, but I'm the one driving. Okay, so go figure. He had a vehicle, but mine was brand spanking new. So we would go here, go there, go here. And I noticed a couple of times I let him take over like that, where he'd come to me early in the day, not early in the morning, but late morning, early afternoon. And I would find myself in places that I wasn't intended on going. I don't mind floating that way. If you're in my inner circle and you need me, I'm going to be there with you. Because sometimes people need the good people in your circle. They're going through struggles and they just need somebody to be there and just to listen to them, right? Well, he wasn't really going through anything like I was. I mean, I had just lost my father, but I understood the cycle of life and the ascended life. I'm not going to say death, it's just transition. Well, it hit me that he really wasn't in my best interest, very selfish. The worst, and this is funny, one day he came, he said, hey man, take a little, he was driving this time, take a little ride with me, man. I'm gonna go to the auto parts store because I gotta start working on this car tomorrow. I gotta get these parts. I said, okay, no problem. Now, one of the things that I would never do is leave my house without washing. You know, I mean, I'm just getting up. I usually would sleep in these sweats that were clean. Those are my pajamas, right? And I said, okay, I'll run to the store with you. So here we go, going to the store. Then he says, hey, I got to check on my friend, man. He's a good guy, but he's going through some stuff. Come on with me. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, so I'm watching my time slip away and my day slip away. Although I didn't have anything major to be done that day, I still didn't have a chance to connect with myself. That was my mistake. And I learned from this day. Wouldn't you know that him with his non-directional self, see, the wind would blow and he would go with it. And I was going with him. And I didn't like it because he did it to me on a minor level. So guess what? Here I am in New York City, in Queens, New York. And by the time that evening came around, I found myself in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's somebody's cookout. Funky, in the same sweats and sneakers that I threw on. You know, sometimes when you're doing yard work or you're around the way or you're like, okay, let me go out and take out the garbage. You got them sneakers that you just won't wear that are all beat up. They're dirty. They're not dirty, but they're not looking brand new. And you say, I had sneakers on like that. I had the sweats on. When I had the sweats, I didn't have any underwear. I didn't feel clean. And here I am dancing, mad, just trying to blend in at some cookout that he wanted to go to after we went to Manhattan and said, let's take more of a ride. Drop this guy home. Well, where are we going? Philadelphia. I'm like, man, my day is over. I'm never going to have this happen to me again. And that was a lesson with my time and my day, but it was also a spiritual lesson for me. I said, I am not going to go through this anymore. And I'm very giving. And I assess the energies around me. And I will give my last. Yes, I will. But it has to go through a vetting process. And usually now it's instantaneous. Like years ago, if you wanted to buy a car, I'm talking about decades ago, before computers, they had to check your credit. It took longer to run your credit. Maybe not even that same day. Now, at the press of a button, bing, you're approved. So that's the level that I'm on right now. You have to run the person's credit check. And it's intuitive, but you can't run it unless you're right with yourself. If the power's off at the car dealership, how are they going to go to the computer or make the phone call to run your credit? So your power can't be off. You got to be on. And you have to find yourself, even if you're 95%, try to always run yourself up to 100%. Try to always run it up. You put gas in your vehicle. You don't just put a little gas in and say, okay, let me stop right now. When it clicks, sometimes we keep pushing it up until it's higher. Are you topped off? Are you topped off physically? Are you topped off mentally? Or are you topped off spiritually? You have to do your pre-flight and check yourself before you start dealing with these different entities. And again, not to make you paranoid, if you have somebody, it might be where's the person you lay in the bed next to. And it doesn't mean they're evil, but they might be off. And they might be open to be used against you. And they don't even realize it. And if you're thinking on the earthly level, you may think it's them. Energy flows. Just don't let it flow into your life. I think I'm going to wrap this down. I just jumped up out my sleep. If you ask me to repeat it exactly as I said it, I don't even know what I said. The storm came, I felt the energy, even before it came, even before the lightning was showing, because it's popping off right now, but I'm up in it. I'm up in the clouds. I love it. And I was going to show you how the storm was coming, but the rain is coming sideways. If I open the windows, this phone's going to get wet. I'm not a rich man to go out and just keep buying new phones. So I said, okay, we're just talking a little bit. And I'm going to look into this chat room. I don't want to really hit this screen because it may knock something off, but the Wolf Master, Troll, Soul Taker, Landed Price. Yes, and Brother Boz, who I used to call Brother Bose all the time, like the Bose speakers. But I see there's 17 people here. It's 4:20 now. I forgot what time I started, but we've been on for 46 minutes and change. I just wanted to get what was put on my heart and share it. Maybe somebody can use part of it, because I know people personally that have been going through a lot of things, and it was just put on me. I woke up out my sleep, grabbed the phone, boom, storm was coming, power was out, but I'm going to do more of these as it strikes me from the heart, because I'm a perfectionist. I like to have a banner that's just right and have the sound just right. That stops me sometimes. So you'll see a lot of these plain banners that I've made as opposed to the fancy ones that I make and take time and make, because sometimes, if a fire hits you in your home, you can't say, well, let me make up the bed. You got to get up and get out and go. So just the same way. And I'm going to do that with my camera. I'm going to take it with me. If something hits me to record or some moment, you have to capture it as it is, raw as it is. But remember, just always stay in touch with yourself and keep yourself topped off, discern the spirits around you, and move in a very intuitive way. That's the only way I could really say, it's very important to move that way. But I'm going to make sure to come back when I wake up. There's a couple things I wanted to share. And it's real out here. So much love to you all. LanceScurv out. Leave a comment or some kind of feedback. Let me know what touched you, what reached you, or whatever else we may want to address here. Okay? Much love to you all. Peace.